The massive station hung in space like a dark jewel against the stars. It was bigger than most moons and older than human civilization. Inside its crystal halls, the Galactic Council met for the first time in 300 years. 12 different alien races sat around a table that could have held a small city. Each species looked nothing like the others, but they all shared one thing now: fear. High Counselor HFY stood at the center of the chamber. His blue skin rippled with anger. As he activated the holographic display, images of human ships filled the air above them. The ships looked crude and simple compared to the sleek vessels the Council races used. But these human ships had done something impossible. They had broken the most sacred law in the galaxy. "Fellow counselors," HFY said in a voice like grinding metal, "we face a crisis unlike any in our history. The species called humans has achieved faster than light travel without our permission. They did this without our guidance or our technology. They did it alone." Murmurs of shock and disbelief filled the chamber. For millions of years the Council had controlled who could travel between the stars. Every race had to prove themselves worthy first. Every race had to submit to Council authority. Every race except these humans. Counselor Viz of the Manted Collective clicked her mandibles nervously. "Surely you exaggerate, HFY. No primitive race could achieve FTL drive independently. It is impossible." The hologram changed to show technical readouts from human ships. The data made no sense to the alien scientists. Human technology was completely different from everything they knew. "It worked, but nobody understood how," I thought. "The same thing," HFY replied, "but our spies have confirmed it. Humans built their FTL drives using theories we never considered. They use methods that should not work but somehow do. They are spreading across space without any control or oversight." Far from the Council station, Captain Jake Morrison floated. In the command center of the UES Defiance, his ship was humanity's newest deep space explorer. Jake was proud of his crew and proud of their mission. They had been mapping star systems for 6 months. Every day brought new discoveries. Every day proved that humans belonged among the stars. Captain called out Lieutenant Betty Ross from the communications station. "We are receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command. It is marked urgent." Jake pushed himself through the zero gravity to her station. The message was short, but it made his blood run cold. All human ships were ordered to return to Earth immediately. No explanation was given. No timeline was provided. Just the simple command to come home now. "Set course for Earth." Jake ordered maximum speed back on the Council station. The debate continued. Some races wanted to give humans a chance to submit peacefully. Others demanded immediate action. The hegemony representative War Marshal Tissandra spoke for the military faction. "Words are useless against these creatures," she declared. "They have violated our most sacred laws. They threaten the order we have maintained for eons. We must act before they spread further on Earth." Admiral Lisa Carter received the Council's ultimatum in her office beneath Luna Station. The message was clear and terrifying. Humanity had 72 hours to surrender all their technology. They had to abandon their colonies and submit to relocation. If they refused, the Council would eliminate every human in the galaxy. Lisa had commanded the Earth Defense Fleet for 10 years. She had fought pirates and rebels and hostile aliens before, but she had never faced anything like this. The Council had thousands of ships. Earth had less than 300. The math was simple and brutal. Drive Amy Rodriguez worked late in her laboratory at the Quantum Physics Institute. Her scanners had detected strange energy readings from deep space. The signatures were unlike anything in human databases. As she analyzed the data, her hands began to shake. Massive fleets were gathering at the edge of human territory. They were too big to be friendly and too organized to be merchants. Amy tried to contact the government, but all communication channels were blocked. Someone was jamming every frequency. She was trapped with knowledge that could save her species, but no way to share it. President Kate Williams sat in the White House bunker reading the Council's demands. Her advisors argued around her, but she barely heard them. The choice was simple: surrender everything that made humans human or fight a war they could not win. "Madam President," her chief of staff said quietly. "What are your orders?" Kate looked at the faces around her. These people trusted her to make the right choice. Earth trusted her. Humanity trusted her. She thought about her children and grandchildren. She thought about the colonies spreading across space. She thought about the dreams of billions of people who wanted to explore the stars. "We fight," she said simply. "Prepare the fleets for battle. Send word to all colonies. Earth will not surrender in space. The Council's enforcement fleets began to move toward human territory. War Marshal Cassandra commanded more firepower than any general in galactic history. She expected this to be a quick campaign. Humans were primitives. They would break easily once they saw real military power. The die was cast. Humanity would soon face its greatest test. The alien fleet appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system, like a swarm of metal wasps. Ship after ship dropped out of hyperspace until the void was filled with alien vessels. War Marshal Cassandra stood on the bridge of her flagship watching the primitive human planet through her sensors. It looked so small and helpless, spinning in the darkness. Open communication channels. She ordered broadcast on all human frequencies. The message went out across the solar system in dozens of languages. The words were simple but carried the weight of absolute authority. Humanity had one final chance to surrender. They must power down all ships immediately. They must abandon their colonies and prepare for processing. They had 6 hours to comply or face total extinction. On Earth, President Kate Williams received the broadcast in her bunker. Around her, the military leaders watched screens showing the massive alien fleet. The numbers were overwhelming. For every human ship, there were 20 alien vessels. The technology gap was just as brutal. Alien shields could stop nuclear weapons. Their guns could crack planets. How long before our fleets can respond? Kate asked Admiral Carter, who had just arrived from Luna. Station, our nearest ships are 4 hours away. Lisa replied, the Martian defense grid is already engaging enemy scouts, but they are heavily outgunned. Kate nodded and walked to the communication console. She thought about surrender for exactly 3 seconds. Then she activated the emergency broadcast system that would reach every human in the solar system and beyond. My fellow humans, she began, we face an enemy that demands our complete submission. They want us to abandon everything we have built among the stars. They want us to forget our dreams and accept slavery. I have one answer for them. We choose to fight. We choose to stand as free people. We choose to show the galaxy what humans are made of. Captain Jake Morrison's ship dropped out of FTL near Mars just as the first alien scouts engaged the orbital platforms. The Defiance was not built for war, but Jake had good people, and they were ready to fight. His weapons officer, Lieutenant Carl Johnson, had managed to boost their plasma cannon. Using spare parts from the engine room, enemy contacts dead ahead, reported sensor operator Nancy White. 3 vessels moving to intercept us. The alien ships were sleek and deadly looking. They moved with mechanical precision as they closed the distance. Their shields shimmered with energy that could stop anything humans had ever built. Jake watched them approach and felt something stir in his chest. It was not fear, it was anger. All weapons target the lead ship. He ordered fire. When ready, the plasma bolt struck the alien vessel square in the center. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the alien ship's shields flickered and died. The hull cracked open like an egg, spilling atmosphere and crew into space. The other 2 alien ships stopped dead in their tracks. Impossible, transmitted one of the alien captains. Human weapons cannot penetrate our defenses. Surprised, Jake replied. Before firing again in Luna Station, Admiral Carter coordinated the desperate defense of Earth. Her engineering chief commander, Ryan Bell, worked frantically in the weapons lab trying to upgrade their systems with anything that might help. The alien technology they had recovered from previous encounters was finally proving useful. Admiral Ryan called out, I think I found something. These alien ships use frequency-based shields. If we can match the right harmonic, we might be able to punch through. Lisa rushed to his station and looked at the data. It was complex beyond anything human science had achieved before, but Ryan had found patterns in the alien shield emissions. With enough time, they might crack the code. How long do you need? She asked. 12 hours minimum, Ryan replied. Maybe less if Dr. Rodriguez's data helps. At that moment, Dr. Amy Rodriguez burst into the command center, followed by government agent Sam Parker. She carried a data pad filled with her analysis of the alien energy signatures. Her discovery about shield harmonics could be the key to human survival. Admiral Carter, Amy gasped, I have critical information about alien vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, in space, the first real battle was beginning. Human ships from across the solar system converged on the alien fleet. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they had something the aliens did not expect. They had nothing left to lose. Captain Morrison led a squadron of converted cargo ships against the alien battle line. The enemy vessels opened fire with weapons that could shatter asteroids, but the human ships did not break apart as expected. Human engineers had learned to build vessels that could take massive damage and keep fighting. The UES cargo master took a direct hit that vaporized half her hull. Instead of retreating, Captain Helen Brooks ordered ramming speed. Her ship smashed into the alien cruiser before anyone could react. Both vessels exploded in a ball of fire that lit up the void. War Marshal Tissandra watched the battle with growing concern. Her forces had superior technology and numbers, but the humans were fighting like cornered animals. They used tactics that made no military sense. They sacrificed their own ships without hesitation. They seemed to prefer death over surrender. Status report she demanded from her tactical officer. We have destroyed 40 human vessels came. The reply, but we have lost 15 of our own ships. The humans are using ramming attacks and suicide runs. Our predictive computers cannot calculate their next moves. This was not how civilized warfare was conducted. The Council races fought with honor and followed established rules. They protected valuable ships and avoided unnecessary casualties. These humans fought like barbarians who cared nothing for their own lives. On Earth, the population watched the battle through emergency broadcasts. They saw their defenders dying in space, but they also saw something else. They saw alien ships burning. They saw the mighty galactic fleet taking losses from human courage and determination. President Williams addressed the world again as explosions lit the sky above them. They thought we would break easily, she said. They thought humans would bow down to superior force. They were wrong. We stand together. We fight together. We will show them that freedom is worth any price. The battle for humanity's future had truly begun. The space around Earth had become a graveyard of twisted metal and burning hulks. Human ships drifted alongside alien vessels in the cold darkness. The battle had raged for 6 hours and neither side was winning. War Marshal Tissandra studied the tactical displays with growing frustration. Her fleet should have crushed the humans by now, but these primitive creatures kept finding ways to hurt her forces. Marshall reported her intelligence officer, we have intercepted human communications. They are coordinating some kind of major attack. Captain Morrison is leading a strike force directly at our command ship. Tissandra looked at the sensor readings showing the approaching human vessels. There were only 12 ships left in Morrison's squadron, but they were moving fast and straight toward her flagship. It was either incredible bravery or complete insanity. Captain Jake Morrison felt the defiance shake as alien weapons pounded his shields. Half his crew was dead and his ship was falling apart around him, but they were close now, close enough to hurt the aliens badly. He opened a channel to all human forces in the system. This is Morrison to all ships, he transmitted. We are beginning our final run on the alien command vessel. Use our attack as cover for your own strikes. Remember what we fight for. Remember who we are. Earth stands with us. The Defiance and her sister ships plowed through the alien defensive line, taking massive damage. Human vessels exploded one by one as the concentrated firepower found its mark. But each sacrifice bought the others precious seconds to get closer to their target. Morrison's ship was the last one left when it reached the alien flagship. The Defiance was more wreckage than spaceship by then, but her engines still worked, and her captain still had one trick left. Jake set the reactor to overload and aimed his dying ship at the alien command center. Tell my wife I love her, he said to his communications officer, Lieutenant Betty Ross. Tell Earth we did our duty. The Defiance struck the alien flagship just as her reactor went critical. The explosion tore through both vessels, creating a fireball visible from Mars. War Marshal Tissandra survived, but her command center was destroyed, and half her senior officers were dead. More importantly, Jake Morrison's sacrifice had been broadcast to every human ship in the system. Admiral Lisa Carter watched the explosion from Luna Station with tears in her eyes. Morrison had been a good man and a fine captain. His death would not be forgotten, but more than that, his final transmission had included critical data about alien shield frequencies and weapon vulnerabilities. The information Dr. Rodriguez had provided was now being proven in actual combat. Commander Bell Lisa called to her chief engineer. Did you get Morrison's data? Yes, Admiral. Ryan Bell replied. His scans show the exact frequency variations we need to punch through their shields. I can have the orbital platforms reconfigured in 2 hours. Lisa nodded. and activated the fleet communication system. Every human captain in the solar system needed to hear this. The tide of battle was about to turn. All ships, this is Admiral Carter. She broadcast, we have discovered the enemy's weakness. Their shields can be penetrated using specific frequency pulses. Detailed instructions are being transmitted to your tactical officers now. We can hurt them. We can beat them. Fight with everything you have. The human fleet reorganized itself around Earth's orbital defense platforms. These massive weapons had been built to stop asteroids and space debris, but Commander Bell's modifications turned them into ship killers. The first coordinated strike caught an entire alien battle group by surprise. 12 alien cruisers died in the opening salvo as modified human weapons punched through their shields like paper. The psychological impact on the alien fleet was immediate and devastating. For the first time in the battle, alien ships began to retreat from human positions. On Earth, President Kate Williams received reports of the sudden turn in the battle. Human forces were no longer just dying bravely. They were actually winning fights against superior alien technology. The orbital platforms continued their devastating barrage as human ships pressed their advantage. Drive Amy Rodriguez watched the battle from the Physics Institute with a mixture of pride and horror. Her discovery was saving human lives, but the cost in blood and metal was staggering. Both sides had lost hundreds of ships and thousands of crew members. The space around Earth looked like a cosmic battlefield from some ancient myth. Dr. Rodriguez called her assistant. We are receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. They want to negotiate. Amy looked at the message in disbelief. The mighty Galactic Council wanted to talk instead of fight. Human resistance had accomplished something that seemed impossible just hours ago. It had made the aliens afraid. War Marshal Tassandra stood on her damaged bridge, staring at the tactical displays. Her fleet still outnumbered the humans, but the losses were becoming unacceptable. Worse than that, word of human resistance was spreading across the galaxy. Other subject races were beginning to ask dangerous questions about Council authority. Open a channel to the human leadership, she ordered reluctantly. Offer them terms for surrender. The response from Earth came back within minutes. President Williams herself delivered the message, and her words were broadcast across the galaxy for all to hear. We reject your terms, Marshal Kate said firmly. Humans do not surrender to tyrants. We do not bow to bullies. If you want our world, you will have to take it from our cold, dead hands. We offer you different terms. Leave our space now and never return. That is the only deal humanity will accept. The alien fleet recoiled in shock. No subject race had ever spoken to the Council with such defiance. The very idea that primitive humans would reject surrender terms was unthinkable. But the burning wrecks floating around Earth proved that humans were capable of many unthinkable things. Lieutenant Danny Foster piloted his fighter through the debris field hunting for alien survivors. His squadron had destroyed 6 enemy vessels in the last hour using hit-and-run tactics that confused alien pilots. Human reflexes were faster, and human creativity gave them advantages in dogfights that alien computers could not predict. Control, this is Foster, he reported. Enemy fighters are breaking off their attack runs. They seem afraid to engage us directly. That fear was spreading through the alien ranks. Like a disease, these humans fought without regard for their own safety. They used tactics that violated every rule of civilized warfare. They turned their own ships into weapons when conventional attacks failed. Fighting them was like fighting natural disasters or wild animals. The battle continued, but something fundamental had changed. The humans were no longer just defending themselves, they were winning. News of the human resistance spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On a dozen worlds, subject races looked up at the stars and wondered if they too could fight back against the Council. The Valdoran Mining Collective stopped sending tribute shipments. The Nexus Trade Federation declared independence from Council oversight. For the first time in millennia, the Galactic Order was cracking. High Councilor F. Curry received reports of uprisings across 3 sectors. His blue skin had turned almost purple with rage as he read about humans inspiring rebellion throughout his empire. The Vorthic military was being forced to divert ships from the Earth campaign to put down revolts on their own worlds. This is intolerable, he declared to his staff. These humans are a virus spreading chaos across civilized space. We must crush them completely before they infect more systems. Lieutenant Danny Foster flew his fighter through the asteroid belt hunting alien supply convoys. His squadron had been operating behind enemy lines for 2 days now using guerrilla tactics. Admiral Carter had learned from Earth's military history. The aliens expected formal battle lines and organized fleets. They had no defense against small groups of humans who struck without warning and vanished into space. Bandit Squadron, this is Foster, he transmitted to his pilots. Enemy transport dead ahead. 3 escorts. Attack pattern Delta. The human fighters swooped down on the alien convoy, like hawks attacking pigeons. Their weapons had been modified with captured alien technology, but it was human skill and human courage that made the difference. Within minutes, all 3 escort ships were destroyed and the transport was drifting helpless in the void. Admiral Lisa Carter watched the tactical displays from her command center on Luna Station. The alien fleet was still massive, but it was no longer unified. Council forces were spread across human space trying to protect supply lines and respond to hit and run attacks. The humans had seized the initiative and were using it with deadly efficiency. Admiral reported Commander Ryan Bell, Operation Broken Arrow is ready to launch. We have 40 modified nuclear devices positioned throughout the system. When detonated, they will create electromagnetic dead zones that will blind alien sensors for hours. Lisa nodded and activated the fleet communication system. Every human captain needed to coordinate their attacks for maximum impact. This was their chance to hurt the aliens badly while their advanced sensors were offline. All units, this is Admiral Carter. She broadcast Broken Arrow launches in 60 seconds. Use the sensor blackout to close with enemy vessels. Hit them hard and hit them fast. This is our moment. President Kate Williams authorized the nuclear detonation from her bunker beneath the White House. Engineer Nancy Green had led the team that converted Earth's entire atomic arsenal into electromagnetic pulse weapons. It was a desperate gamble, but desperate times called for desperate measures. The nuclear devices exploded simultaneously across human space. Instead of creating massive fireballs, they generated invisible waves of electromagnetic energy that fried alien electronics and sensors. For 3 hours, the technologically superior Council fleet was reduced to firing blind, while human ships closed in for the kill. Captain Helen Brooks commanded the reconnaissance ship UES Scout. As it approached an alien battle group lost in the sensor blackout, her ship had been modified with experimental stealth technology that made it nearly invisible to alien detection systems. She was about to test that technology under combat conditions. All stop, she ordered quietly. Power down. Everything except life support. We are going to drift right through their formation. The Scout glided silently between alien warships that were firing randomly into space, hoping to hit attacking humans. Helen counted 12 enemy vessels in the formation, including the heavy cruisers that could destroy entire planets. But right now they were helpless and vulnerable. Target the command ship. Helen whispered to her weapons officer. 1 shot, then we run. The torpedo struck the alien flagship just as its shields came back online. The explosion lit up the void and revealed the Scout to every enemy sensor in the area. But it was too late to save the alien command vessel, which broke apart in a cascade of secondary explosions. War Marshal Tissandra watched her fleet suffer losses that should have been impossible. Human tactics made no sense according to any military manual she had studied. They attacked from multiple directions simultaneously. They used their own ships as weapons. They converted civilian vessels into warships without any regard for proper design principles. Status report, she demanded from her surviving tactical officers. We have lost 60 ships. In the last 6 hours, came the grim reply. Human forces are operating throughout our rear areas, destroying supply convoys and communication relays. Our fleet cohesion is completely broken. This was not war as the Council understood it. This was chaos given form and purpose. The humans fought like every battle was their last, and every victory was worth any sacrifice. It was terrifying to face enemies who feared nothing and would try anything. On Earth, Dr. Amy Rodriguez made another breakthrough in her analysis of alien technology. Human brainwave patterns were apparently unique in the galaxy. Every other species had evolved similar neural structures, but humans were different. This difference made them immune to alien mind control weapons and psionic attacks. This explains everything, she told her research team. The aliens use psychic warfare against most enemies. They can predict behavior patterns and influence decision-making, but human minds are completely alien to them. We think in ways they cannot understand or anticipate. The implications were staggering. Human unpredictability was not just a tactical advantage. It was a fundamental difference that made them impossible for the aliens to defeat through conventional means. Every human action was a surprise. Every human strategy was incomprehensible. Every human victory was a shock to alien military thinking. President Williams received Amy's report just as news arrived of another human victory. Lieutenant Foster's fighter squadron had destroyed an entire alien supply depot using nothing but modified mining charges and incredible flying skills. The psychological impact was devastating to alien morale. Madam President, her chief of staff reported, "We are receiving communications from other human colonies. They are reporting similar victories against Council forces throughout human space. Mars Orbital Command destroyed a battle cruiser. The Europa mining station captured an entire alien squadron. We are winning." Kate looked at the reports with a mixture of pride and disbelief. Humanity had been given 72 hours to surrender or face extinction. Instead, they had fought back so effectively that the Galactic Council's military forces were retreating on multiple fronts. Commander Bell's engineering teams achieved another impossible breakthrough. They successfully reverse-engineered captured alien faster-than-light drives and installed them in human ships. Now Earth's defenders could strike at alien bases throughout the galaxy, instead of just defending their home system. Admiral Ryan reported to Lisa Carter, "The first FTL-capable human strike force is ready to launch. Captain Brooks has volunteered to lead deep penetration raids against alien home systems." Lisa smiled grimly as she looked at the tactical displays. The aliens had started this war expecting quick victory against primitive humans. Instead, they were facing an enemy that grew stronger with every battle and more dangerous with every defeat they inflicted on the Council forces. The war was far from over, but the tide had turned completely. Humanity was no longer fighting for survival. They were fighting for victory. The Galactic Council chamber that had once been a symbol of unity and order was now filled with chaos and recrimination. Council members accused each other of incompetence while their military forces continued to suffer defeats at human hands. The peaceful Etherian Collective had already withdrawn their support from the war. The militant Kresh Union demanded even more aggressive action, including the destruction of entire human worlds. High Councilor F. Curry struggled to maintain control as his authority crumbled. The Council had not faced internal division like this in thousands of years. Everything had been stable and predictable until these impossible humans appeared. With their chaotic tactics and their refusal to accept defeat, fellow Councilor Zeph Curry said desperately, "We must remain united against this threat. If we show weakness now, other races will see it as opportunity for rebellion." Councilor Ethan of the Etherian Collective stood slowly. His species valued peace above all else and had grown increasingly uncomfortable with the brutal war against humanity. His next words would shock the entire galaxy. "The Etherian Collective formally withdraws from this conflict," he announced. "We will no longer participate in the attempted extermination of the human race. Their resistance has shown courage that deserves respect, not destruction." The chamber erupted in shouts of outrage and disbelief. For the first time in Council history, a member race had refused to support a military campaign. The precedent was dangerous and could lead to the complete collapse of galactic authority. Captain Helen Brooks piloted the UES Scout through hyperspace toward her first target, deep in alien territory. Her ship now carried captured Council technology, alongside human innovations, creating a hybrid vessel that was more capable than anything either species had built alone. She was leading humanity's first strike beyond their home system. "Captain," reported her navigation officer, "we are approaching the Vortex supply base. Sensors show minimal defenses." They were not expecting human ships in this sector. Helen smiled grimly as she studied the target. The aliens had grown overconfident during their millennia of dominance. Their rear areas were poorly defended because they had never faced enemies capable of deep strike missions. That oversight was about to cost them dearly. "All weapons ready," she ordered. "Hit the fuel depot first, then the communication array. We want to hurt them and make sure they know humans did it back in human space." Admiral Lisa Carter coordinated the most ambitious operation in human history. Strike teams equipped with captured alien FTL drives were hitting Council facilities across a dozen star systems. Each attack was small, but the psychological impact was enormous. The mighty Galactic Council was being humiliated by primitives they had planned to exterminate. Admiral Commander Ryan Bell reported, "We are receiving a transmission from an alien source. It is not from the Council fleet. The signal is heavily encrypted." Lisa frowned as she studied the mysterious message. Human cryptographers had been working for hours to break the alien codes, but this transmission used completely different encryption methods. When they finally decoded it, the contents left everyone speechless. The message was from Counselor Ethan of the Etherian Collective. He was offering covert assistance to humanity, including detailed intelligence about Council fleet movements and political divisions. The peaceful aliens had decided that humans deserved to survive and were willing to help them do it. "My friends," the translated message read, "your courage has inspired many throughout the galaxy. We owe for what aid we can provide." Attached you will find current Council fleet positions and planned operations. Use this knowledge wisely. The galaxy is watching to see if freedom can triumph over tyranny. President Kate Williams. Read the intelligence reports in her bunker with growing excitement. The alien information revealed massive weaknesses in Council positions and internal conflicts that humans could exploit. More importantly, it proved that humanity was not alone in this fight. They had allies among the stars. Drive. Amy Rodriguez made yet another breakthrough in her research laboratory. Her team had been analyzing captured alien prisoners and discovered something remarkable about human biology. Human brainwave patterns were not just different from other species. They were actively disruptive to alien psionic abilities and neural networks. "This is incredible," she told her research staff. "Human thoughts actually interfere with alien mental processes. When they try to read our minds or predict our actions, their own cognitive systems become confused and unreliable. We are literally incomprehensible to them." The discovery explained why alien battle computers failed when fighting humans, why their tactical predictions were always wrong, why their advanced artificial intelligence systems crashed when analyzing human behavior. Humanity was a cognitive virus in the galactic network of interconnected alien minds. War Marshal Tissandra faced her own crisis aboard the damaged flagship. Her officers were demanding her removal from command after a series of humiliating defeats. The human raids had destroyed supply bases throughout Council space, while her massive fleet remained trapped around Earth, unable to achieve decisive victory. Marshal, her chief of staff, reported, "High Command is sending an investigation team to review your conduct of this campaign. There's talk of court-martial proceedings." Tissandra looked at the tactical displays showing human ships operating freely in areas that should have been completely secure. These primitive creatures had turned interstellar warfare into something unrecognizable. They fought without honor or proper military procedure, but they were undeniably effective. Admiral Carter received an unprecedented communication that changed everything. War Marshal Tissandra was requesting a private meeting under flags of truce. The alien commander wanted to discuss terms that had nothing to do with human surrender. Admiral Carter, the alien message read, "I propose single combat between champions. To settle this conflict, your species values individual courage. Mine respects personal honor. Let our representatives fight while our fleets observe. The winner determines the fate of both our peoples." Lisa studied the proposal carefully. It could be a trap, but it could also be an opportunity to end the war without further massive casualties. More importantly, it would buy time for human strike teams to complete their missions throughout alien space. "Madam President," she reported to Kate Williams, "the aliens are offering single combat to decide the war. It goes against all military doctrine, but it might be our best chance for victory without losing millions more lives." President Williams considered the proposal. While reports continued to arrive of human victories across the galaxy, Lieutenant Foster's fighter squadron had destroyed an alien battle station. Captain Brooks had captured intact alien warships along with their crews. Engineer Nancy Green had successfully modified captured alien reactors to power human weapons systems. The impossible was becoming routine. Humanity was not just surviving the Council's attempt at extermination. They were winning the war and inspiring rebellion throughout galactic civilization. The old order was crumbling, and something new was being born among the stars. "Accept their challenge," Kate decided, "but choose our champion carefully. The fate of humanity may depend on one person's courage and skill." The neutral station hung in space between the human and alien fleets like an ancient arena. waiting for gladiators. It had been built by a long-dead civilization as a place for diplomatic meetings. But today, it would host something far more primitive. Single combat between champions would decide the fate of humanity and the future of galactic civilization. Combat engineer Tony Garcia checked his modified powered armor one final time. The suit combined human engineering with Etherian technology, creating something that had never existed before. He had volunteered for this mission knowing that billions of lives depended on his skill and courage. The weight of that responsibility should have crushed him, but instead it made him feel strangely calm. Garcia, this is Admiral Carter, came the transmission from Luna Station. Remember that you are not just fighting for Earth. You are fighting for the idea that free people can stand against tyranny. The galaxy is watching. Tony activated his helmet display and looked out at the enemy fleet. Thousands of alien ships floated in the darkness waiting to see if their champion could restore Council authority. On the other side, human vessels gathered around Earth like protective angels ready to defend their home world to the last ship. War Marshal Tissandra accompanied her champion aboard the neutral station. The alien warrior was massive and heavily armed with weapons that could level city blocks. His species had been bred for combat over millions of years. By all logical analysis, the human should be dead within minutes. This is foolishness, muttered the alien champion. I could destroy their entire world with my bare hands. Why waste time with single combat? Tissandra watched the human champion approach. Through her tactical display, the primitive creature moved with confidence that seemed completely unjustified given the odds against him. Perhaps that was what made humans so dangerous. They refused to accept that some things were impossible. President Kate Williams and Admiral Carter watched the approaching duel. From the command bunker on Earth, every human in the solar system was following the battle through emergency broadcasts. On colonies throughout space, human settlers gathered around communication arrays to witness their champion fight for their future. Madam President, her chief of staff reported, we are receiving communications from across the galaxy. Other species are watching this fight. Some are openly supporting our champion. The Council's authority is cracking. The duel began with traditional formalities that quickly gave way to brutal combat. The alien champion attacked with weapons that could punch through starship armor. But Tony Garcia was not where the alien expected him to be. Human reflexes and human unpredictability gave him advantages that no alien computer could calculate. Tony rolled beneath a blast that would have vaporized him and came up firing his modified plasma riff. The shot struck the alien warrior in the chest but was absorbed by energy shields that flickered with power. The alien laughed and continued his attack, confident that human weapons could not penetrate his defenses. Drive Amy Rodriguez watched the combat from her laboratory while monitoring the energy readings from both champions. Her analysis of alien technology was proving crucial even in this ancient form of warfare. The aliens' shields operated on the same frequency principles that human forces had learned to defeat. Tony, she transmitted on the emergency channel. His shields cycle every 37 seconds. You have a 3-second window when the harmonics are vulnerable. I am sending the exact frequency to your suit computer. The battle continued with the alien champion growing more frustrated as his massive advantages in strength and firepower failed to produce quick victory. The human kept moving using tactics that made no sense but somehow worked. Worse than that, the human seemed to be learning from each exchange, while the alien relied on programmed responses. Tony Garcia felt the rhythm of the fight change as his opponent became predictable. The alien was powerful and well-armed, but he fought according to rules and procedures that could be analyzed and countered. Human creativity was about to face alien superiority in its purest form. The crucial moment came when Tony's suit computer identified the shield vulnerability window. He waited until the alien champion committed to a major attack, then dodged at the last second and fired at point-blank range. His plasma bolt struck during the 3-second gap when the alien shields were reconfiguring. The alien warrior staggered as the energy beam burned through his armor and into his chest. For the first time in the battle, he looked uncertain and afraid. This primitive human had hurt him using impossible tactics and weapons that should not have worked. Impossible, the alien gasped. Your technology is inferior. Your species is primitive. You cannot defeat me. Tony Garcia stood over his fallen opponent and spoke words that would echo across the galaxy for generations to come. You are right about our technology. You are right about our primitive origins. But you forgot something important. We are human. We do not quit. We do not surrender. We find a way to win. The alien champion died with those words ringing in his audio receptors. The mighty warrior who had conquered worlds fell to a human engineer who refused to accept defeat. The symbolic impact was devastating to alien morale and inspiring to every oppressed race in the galaxy. Where Marshal Cassandra watched her champion fall and knew that more than one life had ended on the neutral station. The old order was dying too. Human victory in single combat proved that Council superiority was an illusion. Other species would draw their own conclusions from what they had witnessed. Stand down all weapons, she ordered her fleet. The humans have won honorable victory. We will withdraw from their space and never return. President Williams addressed the galaxy from the White House as alien fleets began their retreat. Her words were broadcast to every world where intelligent life dwelled. The message was simple but revolutionary. Freedom was possible. Tyranny could be defeated. The human example showed the way. To all who hear this message, Kate said, humanity extends friendship to those who seek liberty and defies those who would impose slavery. We are small and weak compared to ancient civilizations, but we have something they lack. We have the will to be free. Join us among the stars. Captain Morrison's sacrifice had become legendary throughout human space. The first interstellar memorial was built at the site where the Defiance had rammed the alien flagship. Every human ship that passed that point fired a salute to the captain who proved that courage could triumph over impossible odds. Drive Amy Rodriguez established the Institute for Human-Alien Technological Exchange in the ruins of the old Galactic Council headquarters. Her mission was to ensure that humanity's rapid advancement continued, while maintaining the innovative spirit that made their victory possible. The galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Carter led the first interspecies Congress on Earth, where representatives from dozens of worlds gathered to establish new principles for galactic civilization. The old Council system of dominance and submission was replaced with cooperation and mutual respect. It was not perfect, but it was a beginning. Lieutenant Foster became the first human to command an integrated squadron of human and alien pilots. His fighter wings patrolled the frontier, protecting new colonies and exploration missions. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders waiting to be discovered by free peoples working together. Engineer Nancy Green designed the new class of human starships that combined the best innovations from multiple species. These vessels carried explorers and diplomats to distant worlds, spreading the message that diversity made civilization stronger, not weaker. The war that began with an order to eliminate all Earthlings ended with humanity leading a new age of galactic freedom. The Council races faced a choice. They could adapt to the new reality or face the combined might of humanity and its growing alliance of liberated worlds. Most chose adaptation. High Counselor Efkari spent his final years in exile on a small moon writing memoirs that warned against underestimating primitive species. His book became required reading at the New Galactic Military Academy, where officers from dozens of worlds learned that technological superiority meant nothing without the will to use it properly. Humanity had proven that being underestimated was often the greatest advantage of all. The galaxy would remember the lesson for millennia to come as humans and their allies pushed deeper into space, carrying with them the revolutionary idea that freedom was the birthright of all intelligent life.